I feel like I just saw my 12-year-old self. All right. Welcome back to episode 4 of 31 Day Affirmative Music Challenge. I hope you're enjoying it thus far. Feel free to catch up if you need to and take what you need and leave the rest as always. So, today we are going to get right into it. We are looking at Be Like Water by PJ Morton featuring Stevie Wonder and Nas. I really like this song. I was put onto it, hands in the air. I was put onto it a few years ago. And yeah, every now and then it'll pop up and I'll nod my head in agreement. So let's read the lyrics. Be like water, let it flow. Water, just let go. Be like water, where we'll end up we don't know. Water, just let it flow. I think by now you should know things won't always go your way. Can't change things you can't control, so let those worries wash away. Just be like water, let it flow. Be like water, yeah. Be like water, where we'll end up we don't know. Water, just let it flow. Obstacles seem to be everywhere. Elevators out of order, use the stairs. But don't you ever let it make you question your path. Be that still and quiet or as loud as a crash. Be like water, let it flow. Water, just let go. Be like water, where we'll end up we don't know. Water, just let it flow. Then it repeats again. I've been away from lame so long I thought the world was perfect. So when y'all bring hater stuff up, I don't even get nervous. Kinda like you don't exist, just a figment of imagination. At wickedness, I'm not relating situation. Looking at her lately with the wisdom of a man who made it. The bright side, the light side, never dealing with the fakers. And I calls your vernacular aquatic, a splash of love quenching you, with a dripping style more elevated than fashion, bruh, drenching you. I sit and watch everybody miss the view. They take the sermon to minuscule. They took the sermon to minuscule, instead of working on many skills that they have. Yeah, stay clear, stay pure, life's too short for you to stay mad. Be like water, just let it flow. Water, just let go. Be like water, where we'll end up we don't know. Water, just let it flow. Know that you're never alone. Oh, concept, right? How I talked a few days ago about, you know, I just could have swore I was a go with the flow type of shorty. And kind of found out it's not very true. Is that a goal I have in life? Sure. What I like about the concept and about this song is the ebb and flow, right? Like coming back to the goal, coming back to, I mean, water like exists in so many states. There is a sort of constant, but crash happens, stillness happens, waves happen, bigger waves happen, right? Like water is a very humongous energy and spirit. And so like riding that wave and finding a sense of self. And what it represents is release, it represents renewal, it represents refreshment, right? And satisfaction and nutrition. So I've always, appreciated water as an entity. I think by now you should know things won't always go your way. can't change things you can't control, so let those worries wash away. Whenever I keep hearing this part, something in me keeps saying, there's a part of me that wants to go, there's so many things I can't control in this life, which is true, right? But there's another part of me that's not going to let that slide. Like, okay, but what are the things you can control? Yes, there are times when we, as is the saying, things are out of our control. And then I still need to check the part of myself that wants to think that's the end of it. There's still some work that I have to do. And so let those worries wash away. There's a really cool song. It's a song, let me see, it's like Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen by Suntan. And it's written for the class of 99. And in it, the speaker says, like, it'll be the thing you didn't even think about that will actually be a concern. So all of the things you worry about will most likely be nothing. So that's like a cool way to reframe some stressors in life that, again, it really is out of our control. It will be the one thing I didn't even consider that is now the obstacle I'm facing. It's a bit comforting for me. Obstacles seem to be everywhere. Elevators out of order. Use the stairs. But don't you ever let it make it question your path, be that still and quiet or as loud as a crash. That makes me think of there was an interview with Denzel Washington, and he was talking about how, like, the things that he's working on his personal life, like how he wants to move through the world, and how he puts in so much effort to grow, right, and to behave in new ways. And then he talked about, like, then that one thing happens and it just triggers you, and now you do the same behavior, you're back in the same energy, you see yourself as the same person. And it's just a nice reminder that, like, growth is not linear, right? And growth doesn't mean obstacles will never occur again. Like, I think I was talking about this today, that at the start of my spiritual journey, I really did think like I was going to arrive somewhere and everything was going to be fine. And I love when people talk about that. It's just like our ability to be resilient and our ability to bounce back becomes greater. It's not that obstacles will never show up again. That's just kind of a thing we must encounter, apparently. So yes, be that still and quiet or as loud as a crash. Because there's layers, right? We exist in so many versions of ourselves. I love that too. Elevators out of order, use the stairs. But don't you ever let it make you question your path. Yeah, I feel like something I'm working through is that maintaining a sense of self when things don't go how I expect them to, which is more often than not. Being able to appreciate the pivot, being able to see when something is not working out. So I have to try another way and be able to appreciate that other way is just like another branch on the tree. It's not a whole new tree altogether. It's just another branch. That's a cool analogy. Thank you. I've been away from lame so long, I thought the world was perfect. So when y'all bring hater stuff up, I don't even get nervous. Yeah, I feel like that's that sense of self, like this is like speaking these things out loud, speaking out loud that people that you just don't mesh with, you don't gel with. It doesn't make sense, right? Like creating that safe space for you with people who make sense. Um, and like even this, feeling that constant sense of protection. So even when things come up that in the past may have threatened how you feel about the world, may have threatened how you feel about yourself, right? Like building so much care for yourself, love for yourself, grace, forgiveness, um, just that relationship that those things don't shake you up as much. Kind of like you don't exist, just a figment of imagination. At wickedness, I'm not really in situation. Looking at her lately with the wisdom of a man who made it, the bright side, the light side, never dealing with the fakers. As I'm like reading that out loud, it makes me think of like perception. Like, my therapist was eating me up today. And just continuing to be mindful of the fact that we don't know what other people are being fueled by in the moment. It's not personal. Like, there are more often than not, it has something to do with something entirely different. And it's hard to accept that, especially when like something is triggered and I'm feeling some kind of way. And then it's not very satisfactory to know that it's not about you, like, but I'm still feeling this way. So, but that gets us to a better solution as opposed to, maybe the more unhelpful responses that come from being the recipient of misdirected anger, whatever emotion, right? Um, so that's what it made me think of, like perception. Like, how do I, how can I be empowered in knowing that people are going through their own things, and so am I, right? Being able to forgive myself when I project, right? Forgive myself when I misplace an emotion, or when I confuse something, or make an assumption, right? Because, and then I think that allows me to give grace to other people because I know I do it. It's something I'm working on. And I call yas vernacular aquatic. A splash of love quenching you with a dripping style more elevated than fashion, bruh. Drenching you, I sit and watch everybody miss the view. They took the sermon to minuscule instead of working on my skills that they have. Yeah, stay clear, stay pure. Life's too short for you to stay mad. Ooh, is he talking of, is he personifying the water? Hold on. He's talking, what I'm saying? But this, like, I watched this interview today. It talked about being the observer, right? Like being able to kind of, I'm sure that this is how any, elder or someone who is really studied in their field feels when, you see people who are, newer or are ignorant, right? You're able to see what they're missing, even if they can't see it, right? And you're able to see the lesson that they're learning in the moment because you've been through that. You've walked that same path, right? So, in this verse, I think it's talking about that sort of difference in skill level, right? I've walked the path. I've, been through those obstacles. I've become secure in who I am. I've been able to even collaborate with those obstacles, right? I've been able to make beauty out of what may have been very scary initially. And, you know, there's that being on different pages. Looking at her lately with the wisdom of a man who made it, her maybe being the water, Mother Nature, calling Mother Nature's vernacular, aquatic, a splash of love that quenches our thirst. So even in this level of mastery or level of understanding, we're still a student to the elements, still a student to life. Stay clear, stay pure. Life's too short for you to stay mad. A word. So be like water. Just let it flow. Water, just let go. Be like water, where we'll end up, we don't know. Water, just let it flow. Alright, y'all. Another video. Thanks for watching. And please like, comment, subscribe, share, all the things. And I will see you tomorrow.